Alrighty, hey everyone, welcome back. Happy Tuesday to you all. Today was another good day, not only for Bitcoin, but Bitcoin miners and the markets. I think the market was kind of mixed a little bit today, but they ended up in the green, I believe. I've been trying to do a bunch of analysis on the miners as far as, well, the AI plays, right? IREN, CIPHER, and BitFarms there. Trying to figure out some back-of-the-napkin math as far as what could they be worth if they utilize all their megawatts. We'll take a look at that. We'll obviously take a look at how the miners did today, along with Bitcoin, Ethereum, all the rest, the treasury companies, all that stuff. We'll get into that. We'll also take a look at on the institutions. Have they been buying here in the last month since the last time we did this? There's a lot of good data on that as well. And then we'll get into Q&A. So it should be pretty short and sweet here. As always, not financial advice. For only do your own research. Full disclosure below that. Hit the like button, subscribe. Helps me out tremendously here. And let's take a look at what's going on here with Bitcoin here. So Bitcoin had a pretty good day today. Was up nicely, 1.26% here, but it seems like we're battling with like 116,000, 117,000, whatever it might be line here. We got to it here back on Friday of last week. We got there yesterday and we fell down. Same here today. We got there. We're kind of hovering in that area right now. So if we can maybe break above this line here, 117,000, we might be going back up further. Tomorrow, obviously, we got the rate cuts happening here. 25 basis points is pretty much a shoo-in. I would be surprised if we get 50 basis cuts, but we'll see. But yeah, right now it looks like this is like resistance here right around 117,000. We'll see if we can break above it on Bitcoin at least. So the markets were down today. When I was looking at it earlier today, they were in the green here, but they turned out in the red here for some reason. Bitcoin was in the green though. Bitcoin had a pretty good day there. Ethereum here, let's take a look at that one. Ethereum was actually down again today. Not sure what's going on with that one. May have some rotation happening here from Ethereum into Bitcoin maybe, and some other proxies as well. So that one was down 0.48% here, and it's up in the new day at a little bit, 0.86%. So kind of regaining some of that losses there. Miners, BitFarms, holy cow, another great day on this one. It was up another 16.53% here. It is having a really good run here over the last, what is that now, 6-7 days or so. It is up huge here, right? We started out around $1.30. We're close to $3 here, almost a 3x on it, almost like 2.5x on it right now. So that one is doing great. I'm sure you guys are happy with that one. There was a great interview also on Spaces by Kama Sutra and others as well that joined in it. They did a great job on it. Great interview by Ben. Ben did a fantastic job answering all the questions here. And sorry about the ringing tone here. That is my wife. Let's see, what does she want? Can't talk now. What's up? Let's see what she says. She should know better that right now I'm usually doing my videos. I probably should silence my phone though, just in case we get another ringtone happening here. Let me see here. Okay, put that on vibrate. All right, so Bitfarms had a fantastic day here. BitDeer was up 2.82% after being down much more. A lot of these guys were down quite a bit in the morning, and then they bounced back up here. Kang was basically flat, 0. CIPHER was up nicely as well, 6.08. This one's having a fantastic run here also. It's up basically 2x from where it was back in middle of August here, so about a month ago. Right, it was around 475, something like that. It's had a nice run up here. Cleanspark had a pretty good day today, being up 8.84%. We did see Matt Schultz along with Fred Thiel, Tom Lee, who else was there? Michael Saylor at the White House. I think it was at the White House. I'm not sure if it was at the White House or someplace, but they had a conference basically about Bitcoin treasury for the government. So that was interesting. CORZ was down today 0.86%. Hive was down 2.02% after having a nice run up here in the last couple of days. Hut A was up a little bit, 2.44%, a continuation of its run as well. This thing is up nicely also in the last month or so. IREN was actually down today, 1.86%. Nothing major here. It's had a nice run up here, so a little of a pullback, not unexpected, I guess. And we'll see where we go tomorrow. We possibly could go up even higher here. Mara was up also nicely, 7.94%. Riot was up 5.04%. Wolf was up 4.29%. So all these guys are doing pretty good here right now, which is great, right? We've been waiting for a very, very long time for these things to start popping, and they finally are here. Looking at the Bitcoin treasury companies here, MicroStrategy was up 2.23%. Galaxy was up 3.28%. Block was up 1.5%. Coin was up just a little bit, 0.27%. Metaplanet was down 0.5%. Exodus was up 6.53. Nexon was up 0.84. Similar was up 2.5. Phoenix was down 2.86. And GameStop was up 3.17% here. Small miners, somewhere in the red, somewhere in the green here. DigiPower was up 9.4%. DMG was up 3%. Mawson was up 6.5%. And Canon was actually down 1.2%. Bitcoin miner ETFs had a good day again. These things have been on a nice rally here. BitQ was up 2.17%, BKCH was up 3.04%, DAP was up 2.56%, and WGMI, the rocket here, has been up 2.92% again today. So this one is doing fantastically well for me. Ethereum holding companies here, BMNR was up 5.31%, so we are having a little bit of a rally here in these guys here recently. BitDigital as well, up just a little bit, 0.68. Kind of flattened out here a little bit recently here in the last couple of days. BTCS was up 2.55, going up a little bit in the last couple of days. Game, was up 1.28. That one's still kind of flat, more or less. And SBET, same thing, kind of flat here. It's been going up a little bit, but flattening out here a little bit right now. American BTC, regaining some of the losses that it had yesterday. So it was up 9.26% here. Wi-Fi, which is BitDigital's subsidiary there, was down 3.55%. Open was down 6.06% today, which if you guys are on X, you probably hear a lot about that one. Oracle was up a little bit, 1.49% today, and Nibius was down 1.68% here. So that rounds them all out here. Miners after hours right now are BitDeer's down just a little bit, 0.79%. Bitfarms is up again, 1.38%. This thing continues to go up higher, which is nice. CIPHER up also a little bit, 0.35. Cleanspark is up 0.71%. CORZ is down 0.43. Hive is up 1.8%. Hut 8 is up 1.48%. IREN up a little bit here, 0.44. Mara is up a little bit as well, 0.29. Riot up also 0.46. And TeraWolf is flat on the after hours here. Bitcoin for the month of September is up now 7.56%. So that's looking pretty good for us. We're halfway through the month already as it is. Rate cuts happening tomorrow. We'll see if we get a continuation of the pump there. There is some good news on that part. We'll take a look at that here shortly. Bitcoin ETF inflows, see how that's looking right now. Let me update this for the latest that we do have here. So BlackRock yesterday bought in quite a bit, 261 million. They gave us an inflow of 259, almost 260 million there. Today we got positive inflows as well, and if BlackRock continues to buy in here, we'll have another positive day here. So that would give us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 positive inflows in Bitcoin right now, which is great. Great to see here. All right, good news here. This is from bar charts. When the Fed cuts interest rates within 2% of the stock market all-time highs, the S&P 500 has gone on to finish higher over the next 12 months, 20 out of the 20 times, so 100% hit rate. So the rate cuts are going to be good, right? We got rate cuts coming in tomorrow. October, we should get rate cuts, and possibly December as well. That's going to be pumping our bags nicely here. I am looking forward to that. Long time overdue, and I'm going to enjoy it. I'm sure you guys will enjoy it as well. All right, next, let's get into what should the miners like IREN, CIPHER, and Bitfarms be valued at when we compare it to some other deals that are out there on this stuff. So I pulled in as best data as I could on this, on all these guys here. I pulled in the Nebius and Microsoft deal, the Oracle and OpenAI deal, Galaxy and CoreWeave, TeraWolf and FluidStack, CORZ and CoreWeave deals. And this is kind of what we're getting here, right? So the deals are dollar value over here. Term, 5 years, 15, 10, and 12 years. Megawatts, 4,500 megawatts for Oracle. Galaxy, 600. TeraWolf and FluidStack, 260. CORZ and CoreWeave, 590, right? Correct me if I'm wrong on any of these, but these numbers do seem to match up pretty closely here. So Nebius Microsoft deal is actually kind of different along with Oracle and OpenAI. Nebius is going to be providing the AI servers as well as Oracle for the OpenAI deal. So those are getting a bigger revenue per megawatt per year figure there. So Nebius Microsoft is 11.6 million per megawatt. Oracle and OpenAI is 13.3 based on my numbers I could figure out here. And then when we look at the other companies like Galaxy, TeraWolf, and CORZ, right, they're just providing infrastructure basically for CoreWeave, FluidStack, and CoreWeave again. They're being valued at about 1.5 million per megawatt, roughly. Right, on the average, it's about 1.45 million per megawatt. So that's kind of what we're going to be using here going forward with these guys. Okay, like I said, this is kind of fast back of the napkin math here on what IREN, CIPHER, and Bitfarms could possibly be worth. Now, I did pull some AI data here as well, just to see what some of these data centers are worth, right? Data center real estate infrastructures. These companies are primarily focused on owning, operating, and leasing the physical data centers themselves, and I kind of wanted to see what their market caps are. American Tower, obviously they have cell towers, but they also have real estate through core site business, and its market cap is $103 billion. Equinix is 64 billion, Digital Realty is 49 billion, and CoreWeave is 59 billion. Obviously, CoreWeave was valued a lot more just a couple weeks, couple months back, but has come down a little bit as well. So those are kind of the numbers that we're kind of looking here based on the potential for some of these guys here, right? And is it too high or is it too low? That's kind of my barometer here, basically, to see if my numbers are getting too exaggerant. But here's what we got. So when we look at IREN, IREN obviously has about 2,000 megawatts available. CIPHER about 1,600 megawatts, potentially more than that even going forward. Same thing with IREN. Bitfarms, I'm guessing about 1,000, right? After listening to Ben talk today, they seem pretty confident about getting about 1,000 megawatts into the pipeline there as well in the number of in the next couple of years. So that's kind of what we're using here for the numbers. Multiples. So this would be the revenue from the megawatts, and that's dividing it by or multiplying it times the 1.45 million per megawatt there, multiplying this times the megawatts available here. Okay, so that's if they utilized everything. 100% of their megawatts were utilized for deals, right? IREN would have about 2.9 billion in revenue from megawatts per year. CIPHER 2.3, Bitfarms 1.4 billion, right? I'm using a multiple of 15. I've seen multiples between like 12, 18, and even like 24. So I'm being kind of conservative on the numbers here on this, and that would give them a market cap here for IREN 43 billion, CIPHER 34 billion, Bitfarms 21 billion as well, and then shares. This is the latest number of shares that we have for these guys here. And if we use the 15 multiple and even like a lower 7.5 multiple, I would have IREN somewhere between $160 and $80, right? So $80 to $160 in value there. It's currently at 30 some odd dollars. That would still be on the high end, a 4x roughly from where we are right now. And from where we are on the lower end, we're looking at least a 2x on it still. So that would be fantastic, not only for IREN, but for CIPHER and for Bitfarms as well. CIPHER, we could see getting it to about $89. I mean, right now it is at, where was IREN at? Let's see here, going back to my list here. I got too many numbers. I can't remember where everybody's stock price is at right now. CIPHER is at $11, so that would definitely be quite a big jump in there. That would be what, roughly an 8x on them on the high end, 4x on the lower end. Potentially Bitfarms, they're currently at $3. This would definitely be like a 10x for Bitfarms potentially if they got there to the $4 on the high end. And on the lower end, it would be, where would that get us? 3, that would be like a 6x roughly, something like that. But then again, right, this is for a longer period of time frame with Bitfarms, possibly 2026 into 2027 into 2028, right? So it's all going to take time, but this is kind of where they could possibly be valued at. And you guys can tell me if I'm way off or if I'm too low or too high on this. But this is kind of just where I'm looking at, just a rough estimate of where they could possibly be valued at. So it kind of gives us a little bit of a ballpark figure of what the potential is with these companies here, right? We're obviously seeing Bitfarms, CIPHER, and IREN rocketing here quite nicely here. And if we get through these numbers, even the lower end side of things, I personally would be very, very happy. I'm sure you guys would be too. But if we can get to some of these higher figures here, but those would probably be a number of years out, I would think, right? Maybe 2 years out or something like that, where they could have all of their megawatts be utilized by then. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of that. All right, and then let's get into also the miners here. As well, all the miners here that I have, at least that I track. We're going to look at the where is it at? It is going to be the institutions buying in here. I think I updated this as well. Institutions, megawatts. Yeah, I have updated this as well. All right, this is as of yesterday data here. So here's what we have on these guys here as far as institutions buying in. So we look at the 6 month difference and the 1 month difference on the data that I have here. We also look at the price percentage difference from 6 months ago. IREN obviously has done the best here. It's also the most shares added out of all these guys here. So from 6 months ago, 67.2 million shares have been added in by institutions that have added into their own coffers. Right, that's a huge number there. Followed by CIPHER, 54 million, with CIPHER being up 341%, so that kind of makes sense there. CORZ Scientific had an increase of 35 million shares added, and that one's gone up 104% here. Kango up 30 million shares, up 18%. Cleanspark, 28 million shares added from 6 months ago. It's up 36%. Riot, 27 million shares, is up 121%. Marathon, 25 million shares added by institutions, and it's up 37%. Hive, 19, almost 20 million there, and it's up 157%. And BitDeer, 12.5 million added by institutions, and it's up 77, almost 78% there. From last month, we obviously are seeing some more institutions buying here. Shares added in the last month difference, so a lot of them definitely bought in by institutions for CIPHER, 34 million here in the last month. CORZ was up 33 million shares. IREN even up 23 million shares. Hive 21 million shares. Marathon 19. Riot up 15. BitDeer up 5.9. And Cleanspark only 3.8. So institutions have definitely been not as active in Cleanspark the last month. They've been definitely getting in more into the AI guys here, it looks like, right? On it. And you can see the performance over the last month on some of these guys here. CIPHER up 88%. IREN up 98%. Hive up 65%. Riot up 39%, and you can see the CORZ up only 13%, Marathon up 7%, BitDeer's been up 23%, Cleanspark's only up 10% roughly on it. And then here's a percentage owned by institutions in the 6 months here. This is Kango 22% increase, percentage owned. IREN increased 17% by institutions, Cleanspark 10%, CORZ 9%, along with CIPHER, BitDeer up 7%, Riot 4%, Hive 3%, and Marathon 3% as well. As far as the analyst high price targets changes here, from 6 months ago, IREN's up $15 on the high side from analysts. Kango's up $8, Marathon's up $4, BitDeer is up $2, Riot is up $1, CIPHER's flat along with Hive. CORZ and Cleanspark are both down $1 from 6 months ago. Analyst high price changes from a month ago. Riot increased by $6, IREN by $3, Kango by $2. Everybody else is flat here. And then you can see here the 6 months of institutions change here, right? So how many institutions have changed, how many have been added into it or have decreased from it. And the only one that had a decrease was Hive actually, but their number of shares actually increased for them, right? So you can see that on the table there. Going down here, analyst high price targets, Marathon has $33. Cleanspark has $25, BitDeer $26, Hive $11, $23, and that one probably has to be updated, I think, because that's IREN, I think, is higher than that. Let me see on my data here. Where's that at? Analyst price target 23. I'm just looking now. I think that should be higher for this because if we look at IREN here, I think they're at like $40 now, I think. So I might have missed something here in my sheet here. If I did, I'll correct it. Where did it go? $41 for the high. Yeah, so I'm still looks like using the old data, $26. Is that correct? So I'm using last month's data on it. Well, I apologize for that. Let's see, $26 for IREN, $24. Where is that pulling the data from here really quick? Let me take a look. High 715. Oh, okay. Well, let's update this really quick as well. Bear with me. We'll do this right now. It's not going to take that long. I'm off by 2 months on it. Let's see here, 26. Got a couple of these to go through. And, well, you can kind of see all the data that I have to track and make sure that I get it updated. It is a lot. It's a lot of data and a lot of, pointing to different data for all this stuff to get it all right. And I forgot to do that, so I do apologize. Only human, only me doing this, so bear with me while we fix this together. Let's see here. Okay, that one's the latest on that one. Okay, got 2 more to go, and we'll be done with that. We'll see where everybody comes in at right now. All right, perfect. All right, that's been updated. Perfecto. All right, so here's how it stacks up now. Marathon, $34 from the analysts as far as high price target. Cleanspark, $26. BitDeer, $33.60. Hive, $11. Of course, Center, $23. Riot, $24. Kango, $804. CIPHER, $9. CIPHER is definitely above that now. IREN, $41, right? And then when we see the analyst high price target difference from current stock value, well, you can see how far away they are or how close or how much more they should go from it on that one. And analyst high price percentage difference from current stock value. So Hive still could go up 177% to get to where the analysts have them on the high side. Cleanspark, 152%. Marathon, 109%. Kango, 76%. BitDeer, 110%. CORZ, 40%. Riot, 43%. CIPHER is actually, like I said, above their high price target here. And IREN still has about 10% to get to analyst targets, at least right now. But given what we saw here in the prior sheet here with where these guys could possibly go, I think there's definitely a lot more room for these guys to run as well. So I'm holding. I'm not selling anything right now. There's going to be a straight shot to that. No, it's going to be obviously a volatile time. They will come down. They will go back up further, and they'll come down some more. And it's going to be a rinse and repeat on this until we get to much higher numbers on these things, especially when they actually do report some kind of a deal or something like that. The stock's definitely going to pump at that point. We'll kind of plateau a little bit or come down a little bit after that. We've definitely seen that with TeraWolf. We've seen that with Core. We've seen it with also Galaxy and others as well. So that's kind of the modus operandi there, I guess. And, in the long run, it's going to be up high. But we just need to continue to see megawatts being occupied by tenants, or in IREN's case, by GPUs, if they're going to do it themselves, right? If they're going to become a neo-cloud provider themselves, which this does not take into account that. Here, so great things are going to be happening here for us. Patience is going to be needed. Right, take profits along the way, definitely. I'm going to be holding on for a little bit longer here before I start taking profits, though. All right, that's it. Spreadsheets, I'll make this available to you guys as well. To the Patreon members there, a link for that is down in the description if you want to join and subscribe and help what I do and get access to all this stuff. All right, I'll provide this to you guys tomorrow morning for the Patreon members, and you get access to our private Discord server as well. But let's get into Q&A here, so what you guys have to say. And we'll call it a day here. So I love days like this. Things pumping. It's much better than when we're going down, right? Everybody's down in the dumps when things are going down, and when we're pumping, it's nice. It's a nice change. We'll say it. Okay, where are we at here? All right, Prime's got a question. How much should Cleanspark be worth, and how high do you think it will go? Thanks. All right, so Cleanspark here. If we look at Cleanspark really quick, my numbers at least. Let's take a look at it here. Right there, perfect. I have them somewhere between 24.20 and 36.31. They're obviously around $11 now, I think. So they still have a long ways to go. Even the analysts have them between 26 and 15, right? So somewhere in between where I have them, a little bit on the high side at least. So I think there's more room for it to run. Them talking about HPCI and going towards that route as well. It might take a little while for some news to come out from that, but at least they're going in that direction, which I think is going to help. And then Bitcoin going up in value is also going to help for them. So this is where I think they should be getting close to. All right, there's that one. Okay. All right, John Kurt says, hey Seb, Fed cuts quarter point tomorrow, 1 p.m. Give no info for rate cuts in October. Stocks take a much needed rest, but the rally continues. By Cleanspark early today. Have owned Bitfarms for a few days now. Nice, very nice. All right, let's see. All right, talked about that one. What else we got here? John says, Cleanspark will be the recipient of profit taking from IREN. Big rally for Cleanspark. Bought more CIPHER, as you mentioned. It may double. Thanks. Perfect. Let's see, Dead Market Stats asked, did I buy any dips today? I did not. No, I wasn't ready. I didn't even see it, actually. I was at work, as usual. And then I look at my phone, it's like, oh, they dipped. Well, and then within a couple, like an hour or something like that, they started going back up. It's like, oh, I'm not buying that dip then. What else do we have here? All right, Brad says, I will watch later to get your thoughts. Have to go, no problem. Have a great night. Brad says, I can't join the live, but I wanted to hear about Cleanspark. Your thoughts, Ted left them out for some reason, but please talk about them. I did talk about them. The reason I left them out is because we don't know what their HPCI potential is going to be. So if we knew what the number of megawatts are going to be available for it, I would have talked about that. Okay. Dead Market Stats says today about 100 shares of open, seeing as Bitfarms took off again today. Okay. Okay, John says too much tariff inflation coming for an October rate cuts. I mean, didn't the CPI come in pretty good, though? So I don't know if... we'll see. Okay. All right. Victor C., how much cash does Bitfarms have for buyback stock? Well, their original goal was to buy back roughly about $50 million worth of stock. And they, within like the first couple of weeks, when they announced it, they used up like 10 to 12% of that already, I think. I don't know where they are with it right now, but we will see. CJ says, we are headed to gold. We are headed to Valhalla, paradise. Fairfax, miners blow away all these treasury stocks. At least right now they are, right? But there was a time when the treasury companies like Strategy was, kicking our butts here. And it's one of those things that's hard to be patient when you're seeing that happening here. But we're finally getting a little vindication, I think, maybe. All right. DeFi says, Soluna, the most undervalued HPC play with 30 million market cap. LOL, this will fly. I'll have to do more research on them. I'm not going to say that they won't or that they will, but I would need to do some more research on them. DeFi says, don't sleep on BM&R. Roger says, BM&R is a beast. Yeah, I mean, listen, you got Tom Lee in there. I wouldn't be surprised if it does very well here. Okay, what else here? DeFi says, I've been telling y'all this was at MNEV of 1.15, now 1.45. Yeah, so it's getting a little hot there. So maybe look out for a little bit of pullback. DeFi says, IREN 100 looks like pretty easy price targets this year. Wow, even this year? Well, we have a couple more months to go. Never say never, I guess. Okay. Brett says those treasury rally really turned into poop turds. Effing clowns. David Bailey is a real demon. I don't know. I don't even know who that is, or maybe I do. I just don't recognize his name. DeFi, yeah, most are, but BM&R seems the only one to buy. Okay. DeFi Seb, time to add Soluna after the 100 million deal. That was to build out the EI, right? I saw something about that today. Daniel, hi Seb. Cleanspark tested $10 since a week. Today it started its big move. Don't you think this is the one probably having the most upside at this point with their imminent entry into HPCI? I think it will catch a nice bounce, right? I think it's been beaten down here for a long time, probably for like a year and a half. I think its time is going to come here, but like I said, and maybe it'll run without any news because of the expectations there, but I think we're going to need some more news from the management there on what sites are good for HPCI and, what are they doing towards that goal there. Yeah, DeFi says Soluna secures 100 million facility from Generate Capital with further funding supporting the company's 1 gigawatt pipeline. Only 3 market thoughts, and let's add this to our watch list, please. Yeah, I mean, they're very, very small here. The one thing I didn't like about them was all the projects that they were doing were projects that they partner with somebody and all this stuff. So it's hard to kind of see what the percentages are of the deals, how much they're getting. I would have to look really deep into that one. Maybe I will. All right. LB says, BitDeer, lots of good things with this company. They do have obviously a good growth map here going for them for not only HPCI, but Bitcoin mining themselves. They're also building their own ASICs. They have a lot of good things happening there. All right. Then market stats. Cleanspark is too spread out. I don't see them getting a deal unless they spend more money, possibly buy out another miner. I don't know why they would want to buy out a miner. I mean, they got, what, $1.5 billion in Bitcoin. They could use part of that. Having smaller sites is not always a bad thing. Yes, most of the people that we are talking about, like the hyperscalers, they want, megawatts to not gigawatts of power potential sites. But you have plenty of these enterprise customers that only need 30, 40, 50 megawatts or something like that. So it'll be interesting to see which way they go. All right, Gary, when will Cleanspark confirm their path to 60 exahash? Only 3.5 months left in 2025 to meet their target. Yeah, I mean, that's not too much. I mean, they're 50. I mean, you're talking about having to install basically, what is that going to be? 3 exahash a month or something like that. That's not too bad. I mean, you could probably do that whole 10 exahash in a month if you wanted to. I mean, we've definitely seen that from others, get to like 7, 8 exahash a month. So it's doable. I'm not too worried yet, but they said by the end of the year, so we'll see. DeFi, but why did Cleanspark and Mara go up 9% catch-up trade? Didn't expect this since BTC is not up much. Yeah, I mean, Bitcoin's up a little bit here. It might be a catch-up trade. Right, everybody may be taking some profits on some of the winners that they've had here and rotating it back into these guys, seeing that these guys are undervalued. Sadie, as always, thank you so much for the likes. Fairfax, people are realizing that treasury stocks are BS compared to miners. Time will tell, right? I'm not going to rule them out just yet because when they do run, they do run. Let's see. Rate cut usually announced on Wednesday at 1 p.m. Central Time. Yep, we're going to be definitely paying attention to that one. I think it's going to be 25 basis points, but I'll be surprised if we get 50. Let's see. Dragos, Bitfarms Army reporting in. Good. Where were you guys when Bitcoin or Bitfarms was down at 70, 60 cents? Everybody was screaming from the rooftops about how terrible of a company it is. And I told you guys at that point, be patient. Hopefully you guys listened at that point and held on or bought more in. I know I should have bought more in at that point. Just unfortunately, I didn't have any cash. I've had that happen to me a couple times where things have really come down and I couldn't buy because I was out of cash. Frustrating. Maybe I should have went on margin or something like that. Taking out a loan or something. But I don't like doing that either. So it is what it is. But we're still doing good. Gary, your numbers for IREN only include Sweetwater and not Canada or Childress. Bitfarms says no energy contracts for 1 gigawatt yet. So I said if they get that done, right? So I said it's a multi-year for them. But you're right. I did only include for Sweetwater. I didn't include for Childress, which obviously they have Bitcoin mining there now. They also have the 50 megawatt Horizon 1 and the other 50 megawatt Horizon 2 that they're working on as well. Or it's maybe even more than that, I think. But they do have obviously more. I'm just using the numbers that we have available right now. And if they got a deal like Dan has said for Childress, for megawatts there, they would definitely unplug the Bitcoin miners. But right now, the Bitcoin miners are generating them a lot of revenue. So I don't see that happening just yet. I could be wrong. All right. Andrew, hi, said, please add Soluna. Wow, Soluna Army's in the house tonight. This one is the sleeping giant, such a huge pipeline and a very small 30 so why does it have a 30 million market cap? What's the reason behind it? There's got to be a reason behind it. If they have such a huge pipeline, right? And here's the thing with pipelines, I could say that you have a pipeline of sites that I'm looking at, but there's nothing signed yet. Until you get a signature on leases or on contracts or something like that, that pipeline is a dream, basically. This is the way I would look at it. Then it goes for all these guys here. All right. Victor C, is there a big increase in institutions buying for Bitfarms here? Let me see. Let me see if I got Bitfarms here. Institutions. Okay, I'm looking at what was this updated? 831, last updated. Let me see if I can see if I can pull up a latest one here. Okay, so the latest that I do have here on Bitfarms is here. Institutions did decrease in the last month by 7, but shares increased by 6.5 million shares. It is now 25.03% owned. So we have seen an increase, and it'll be interesting to see how much of an increase we get from the recent, 2 weeks of rally that we've had here with huge gains on it. I think there's going to be more to see there, but this is the latest data I have on it, which is from 831, so about 2 weeks behind here on them. All right, let's go back here. What else? Okay, talked about that one. All right. SH says, actually, you forgot to add Scrubgrass 1 gigawatt to your math in 3 to 4 years, and that should give Bitfarms 2 gigawatts, not so multiple Bitfarms. Really, is it, do they both have potential for 1 gigawatt? If that's the case, then, I mean, you could definitely see it going up much higher, right? But I thought between the sites in Pennsylvania, that was basically 1 gigawatt between those. But I could be wrong. All right. Middle West Island asked a question, what's a good price to get back into Riot, CIPHER, and IREN if you sold for profit? If you sold for profit, I would look for any dips on those and buying at that point. Dollar cost averaging as best you can on them back. Yeah, but I mean, you took profit, so that's good. You're in the cash. All right, Victor, at this point, which miner most undervalued? Thanks. Oh my gosh. I would still think right now to the ones that I cover, that'd probably be Cleanspark, Hive even at this point, Mara even, I would say. Those three are really undervalued from where they probably really should be. Okay. S8 says, if your math is accurate, I'll buy you a vacation trip to your homeland, Poland. Good luck to all. If I have that, I'll buy myself a plane to, fly me there myself, or at least a private plane, charter a private plane, if that goes up to those numbers. I think we'll all be doing very well. All right. Seb, what's price I got on Cleanspark? Like 23 to 30 some odd dollars here on the low end, right where they kind of should be more or less. All right. Question: Bitfarms year-end price. I mean, we could possibly get up to like $5-6, maybe even higher than that. Right now, it's doing really good. We'll see how much longer it can continue to go there, and then just what kind of news they come out with later on. Is Hive still a good buy? Thinking of buying tomorrow. I think it is undervalued from where it should be. But again, with them, I love the growth that they have. I've said that operations are great as well. My only concern is they don't have any operations in the United States, right? So take that as advisement there a little bit. Okay, Drago says always follow the volume. The volume on Bitfarms is insane. Okay. Victor C, there is some news that money is rotating into energy stocks, nuclear miners. Okay. Yeah, I mean, we definitely need to build out more nuclear in this country as it is. Okay, Gary says you overlooked IREN. IREN is the only neo cloud provider which with trade higher value than others who are colocation who will trade as lower as REITs. Yeah, I pointed that out also. I said they could go into being a neo cloud, which would then get valued even differently, even higher. So there's many ways that they could do it for sure in IREN. Not Pedro Pascal. Happy Tuesday. Are we in the coming days of Bitcoin going parabolic? Well, we will see what tomorrow brings us, but rate cuts should be risk on good for risk on assets at that point. I'm hoping that will pump Bitcoin to 140,000, 150,000 here, hopefully by the end of the year at least. All right, Daryl says I sold some IREN shares on Friday and bought into Bitfarms yesterday. Looks like it was a good move. I also bought more Hive as well. Go Hive, very nice. Okay. Ben said, see you next week when the host set a price target of $5. How likely do you think this will happen? He was laughing at it, right? He was obviously kind of joking about it that we'd get there, but what's the likelihood? I mean, we're at $3, close to $3 right now as it is. I mean, the way the thing is going, with the gains, I mean, if it continues to have like 16 and 12% gains each day, yeah, we could get there sometime next week. All right. All right, DeFi, last 5 days, BMNR 26%. Please buy Seb, LOL, ETH, down 4% to catch up. Yeah, it's just one of those things that don't appeal to me. I think there's more upside with these miners, HPC, play companies here than there is with Ethereum or Ethereum treasury companies. Let's see, Brody, question, if Bitfarms goes to 40 USD, will you get a Bitfarms tattoo? LOL, just kidding, Seb, thanks for your work. No, yeah, I'm not going to do the same thing like, Michael Novogratz, right? Where he got the Luna tattoo. Yeah, not doing that. All right. Please share a view on ABTC with chart on the stock price on it. ABTC, we got it over here. All right. So based on the numbers that we do know for them, they have like 900 some odd million shares outstanding. I mean, their market cap right now is, about 5 point some billion? Right, if I'm not mistaken. That's a lot. They only have about 20 some odd exahash. They have some hodl position there, but they're being valued more on the name recognition. Eric Trump there, I think it's Eric. That's in there as well. And I would say they're probably a little overvalued right now. And we need to see how they do going forward. They're asset light. So the good thing is they only have a couple of people working there, which should keep costs down, which would help them. Being asset light because you're going to be paying a little bit of a premium to Hut 8 to have your machines hosted there and all that stuff. Yeah, I don't know. That's another one I need to do a little bit more research on them as well as time goes on. Okay, going back here. All right. Ed asks, what stocks are you thinking about investing after this bull run is over? That's if the bull run's over. What if we go into an extended cycle with Bitcoin, right? Which I've been kind of saying for a while. But nonetheless, eventually I'm going to have to take some profits, right? I can't just hold on to them forever. Well, you possibly could. I mean, some companies you can hold, 10, 20 years and still have, huge gains on those. I don't know if some of these guys will be. We'll see. But if I do start taking profits and things like that, I will be probably going into either companies that are in quantum, right? Quantum is the one I'm looking into as well. And then I'll be looking into also energy because I think there's going to be a lot more energy growth here in the next probably next decade, I would assume. So that's another one I'm looking at. And then, robots, I think is going to be the next thing as well. So there's quite a few things we could play with it beyond just Bitcoin mining and HPCI as well. But HPCI should be a pretty good run for the next, I would say, 5 to 10 years. I think we're in the very early innings of this one. All right. Let's see. All right. John asks, Riot's price is going up nicely. Do you think they could reach $75 this year? Oh, gosh. I don't know if they're going to get to $75 this year. Bitcoin would have to go to like 200,000. They get a deal for HPCI, then yes, they could possibly go there. Dan Market says I was buying at 70 cents for BitFarms. I'm guessing that's the one. Great job there. Bevney, I've been buying BitFarms for the past year, bought more and never sold, paying off now. Congrats. Yeah, that's awesome, right? I've been also buying that one, but I've also taken profits in that one as well and rotated into others as well. But I still have a nice chunk of change there with them. I'm happy with the way it's performing now. If you guys recall, I was like one of the biggest proponents of Ben becoming the CEO last year. We definitely had a lot of people that were not for it, and then people that were, really, calling on Ben to quit, to get fired because the stock hasn't done that great. But like I said before, he's only been in there, now 13, 15 months or something like that in the CEO role. And he's done, I think, a pretty good job of transitioning the company to be more focused on AI, more on the United States as well. I think that's going to pay off in the long run here. So I'm happy with it right now, and I wish him all the best. All right, SH, I think Soluna CEO needs more experience. He's not Wall Street material. I just listened to his interview with McNally Money. Best of luck, okay? All right. Brett says a bunch of clowns. We'll be lucky if Riot hits 50. Okay. Well, we're getting rich clowns, so I don't care what you call us. But we're going to be, yeah, be a little bit more polite. Let's see here. Victor, how many megawatts does Bitfarms and CIPHER available to use? Bitfarms, from what I knew, is around 1 gigawatt. Plus, they have the sites in Canada as well that could be used for some smaller deals as well. If they transition all those sites to HPCI, right? I think he talked about Sherbrooke. I think is one of those regions that have 3 facilities there. So they have optionality there. Somebody also mentioned that they have the 2 sites in Pennsylvania could be 1 gigawatt each, which I don't know about that, right? I'd have to find out on that one. CIPHER has right now, let me see here. Where's my map? Let's take a look at this. CIPHER has, just say 200 megawatts, 300, so that's 500 megawatts, 600 megawatts, and then they got 500, 1500, so that's 2100 megawatts. Out of the sites that we know of, these are in the development phase still. The Rizal, the Singleton, and Dole are in development. Black Pearl is obviously up. Odessa is also up, and then LaSalle is a smaller site, 100 megawatts. But so they have 2.1 gigawatts roughly, from what I gather here. All right, let's go back. Why is my mouse acting up? Okay, where are we at here? All right. And Toronto says, finally some good news. I sold 1.2 thousand shares of Bitfarms. Okay, congrats on having some profits there. Let's see, Andrew says, Solana already the most contracted in place for each build out. Most contracts in place for each build out. Yeah, that's kind of the way they've been doing it, right? They've been getting these kind of deals with partners, and so they're partnering with people to help build those things out. Obviously, their market cap at 30 million does not give them much as far as, what's the word I'm looking for there? Much optionality as far as a way to finance things. So they have to go with these kind of deals with partners on those things. You're talking about Soluna there, yeah. Let's see here. 6737 question: who should be valued higher, Bitfarms or Hive, market cap wise? I would say probably Bitfarms, right? More operations in the United States. They're going into HPCI more. I think that one will probably be valued more at that point. All right. All right. Pitt says, hello, Seb, in the group, Ben BG lately, but listening to you in the mornings on the way to work. I really don't want Cleanspark to go over 20 before second week of November. Wish you all the best. Okay. Okay. Andrew says it is a different business model to most miners, though. You're talking about Soluna there. Yes. All right. What is the fair value of Hive? I think Hive should be obviously valued higher from where it's at right now. My numbers have Hive somewhere between $8 and $13. They're currently at about $4, something like that, and that's giving them a little bit of a discount as well on a PE of 10 only, because they don't have any operations in the United States. It could be actually maybe even lower valued PE on it. I'm not sure. I like the guys there. I like what they're doing, getting 25 exahash. Their operations are always great, And then they're also getting into HPCI, right? They're getting some revenue already. They're getting, what's like 1.2 million a month, something like that, from the GPUs that they have currently. And they bought a data center in Toronto as well. That's 7 megawatts there. And they're working on a deal with Bell Canada. We don't know the full details of that yet, but they're working on it. So they do have potential, right, for sovereign HPCI data centers. We'll see what that turns out to be. Going back here. Let's see, okay, that one. What are you buying in the dips? Nothing right now. I'm still trying to scrounge up some more cash here. More Tim asks, question, your IREN CIPHER BitFarms projections leave out BTC appreciation. So if BTC rises and hit new higher plateau, double tailwind. Yeah, I mean, Bitcoin doubles from here. You're definitely going to be generating some more revenue there. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's going to be even better, right? So I'm holding. Let's see here. Pitt says holding 25,000. Cleanspark, strong, nice. Okay, Maxim, how do you feel about the CEO from IREN selling and Vavilos selling down his CIPHER stake? Oh, I saw that today as well. What was that under? What was the CIPHER when I saw that one? What was that one about? I read the details on it. Oh, gosh, what was the reason for it? Let me take a look. I don't want to misstate here something. Let me see here really quick on CIPHER. I know it was something to do. Oh, it was a pre-planned sale that was set up on in May, I think it was, for CIPHER. Let me see here, September. Here it is. Okay, so this is. Let's see. Well, this was Caddy Patrick Arthur here. CIPHER. Is this it? Maybe there's another one here. Let's see. Was there another one today? September 8th. Was this it? Bitfury. Oh, this was September 8th. We talked about that one already. But I thought there was one here from... Is this it? I'm not sure. But I saw one for CIPHER that was pre-planned sale. It was a... What do they call it? 10B something? Or that... Oh, gosh. Where is it at? Let me see. Ownership disclosures, proxy. All right, here we go. Yeah, we got September 16th. 4 statements of changes in beneficial ownership here. Callie Patrick was one of them. That was the only one here, it looks like. All right, yeah, here we go. The sale was reported on Form 4 were affected pursuant to Rule 10b-5-1, trading plan adopted by the reporting person on May 12, 2025. Okay, so the stock obviously got to a certain point and it basically triggered a sell at that point. So this is the one I saw here. But which one was the other one that you said? The Vivali? Yeah, I don't even know how to pronounce that. I'm not sure. I didn't see that one. Okay. All right. How do you feel about Wi-Fi, Bit Digital Dynamic, and the vote tomorrow? I don't pay much attention to that one, so I'm not sure what they're voting on there, on that one. Okay, Miles, may you list again all the miners who have transitioned or transitioning into HPCI business? Which of them are currently undervalued? Oh, out of those guys, golly. Let's see here. So let's go through all this, right? This is the ones that I track here. So we got BitDeer. BitDeer's transitioning to Bitcoin miners as well. I think they're still undervalued from where they should be, right? That's not really including HPCI business there, but having between $19 and $29 roughly. Kango, they started some talks about HPCI as well, but they're asset light. CIPHER has definitely transitioned. They're definitely above my price targets on them for 576 and 863 on Bitcoin mining here. So they seem pretty well valued there on Bitcoin and HPCI potential. Cleanspark started talking about HPCI, right? I'm between 24 and 36. They're at $10 or $11 right now as it is. They do appear undervalued. CORZ Scientific is being bought out, obviously. Hive is at $4 or something like that. I'm between 8 and 13. They do have some HPCI, so that one's still undervalued in my opinion here. IREN right now is at, what, $37. I'm in between 25 and 38, so they're pretty close to my valuation just on their operation for Bitcoin mining as well. So they're pretty well valued here, but they get a deal for HPC AI or something like that, that could pump the stock up even more. Mara, obviously Mara has been talking about HPC AI as well, but they also took a stake in a company that does HPC AI. Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, this one seems to me like it's undervalued anyways, 19 to 29. They're at 16. Riot, another one that's talking about HPC AI. That one is at 16 or $17 right now, whatever it is. Having between 13 and 20, so I still think that one's a little bit undervalued here. And that's basically the ones that I cover here. BitFarms obviously at almost $3 right now as it is. I think when I was tracking it, I had it somewhere between $3 and $6 in value. I think they should be probably like fairly valued at that point. So I think that one still has a little bit more room to run. And then who else do we have here? TeraWolf, not sure where they are right now on all of that. And then you got also Applied Digital. They're not really a miner. Who else is a miner? I think that's it, to be honest with you. Maybe I'm missing somebody here. I can't remember if I'm missing somebody else. Smaller miners, you got some other smaller miners, right? You got Sphere, 3D. You got also Argo. You got, DMG, DigiPower, or what do they call themselves? Digi something. And who else is in there as well? You got Mawson. I don't even know how they're doing anymore. So that's, I would say that's it. The list here. All right. Let's see. Sunketh got 3,000 plus shares of Bitfarms, average at $1.90. What's a good price to start taking profits? Whenever you feel like it, right? That's your call there. Do you still think that stock has more potential to run? Then hold on to a little bit, maybe sell a portion of it. That's your call there. All right. Let's see, Gary, how does Bitfarms chart look? It may be getting close to overbought. Oh, I wouldn't say it's close. I think it is looking overbought here, but it can go higher, longer as well. This is on the daily time frame. RSI right now is at, what is that, 91. That is looking kind of overbought there. On the weekly, it's getting up there as well. 81 for it. On the monthly, we still have more room to run on the monthly before we start looking overbought here. Right back here, we were overbought. This was back in April 21, and the stock was actually at 535. It continued to go down here while the price actually went up higher here to 935 even. So yeah, it could definitely run hot for a lot longer here. Right, going back here. Okay. Mortem says, Kush, the chart guy that Mike Alfred likes posted that Mara can get to 123 sounds crazy. What is he basing that on, though? Bitcoin going to 200,000, something like that, or 250,000, them getting an AI deal or something? What is he basing that on? All right. Dead Market Stats says, what about space stocks like RKLB and KULR? If any of those, I'd like to get into, obviously, SpaceX. And maybe now that my wealth has increased, I could become a accredited investor, which maybe then I can invest in them, which I haven't been able to do in the past here. So we'll see. But yeah, definitely space, I think, is also another one that's going to be interesting to watch out. But the Goliath in there is SpaceX, right? So if we can get in on SpaceX, if they ever do go public, that would be fantastic on them. I mean, imagine them mining asteroids, going to Mars, and all that stuff. That'd be really, really interesting. All right. DeFi says, Tom Lee price target is 10,000 by the end of the year. For just imagine if that's true, BNR will be a couple of $100 from 50 right now. Yeah, I don't know if Ethereum can get to 10,000. It has been, it's doing much better here recently, the last couple months. But prior to that, it has underperformed Bitcoin and everything else. I don't know. We'll see. I wish, for you and everybody else that's invested in Ethereum and these companies, that it does happen. But I just don't know. XVEX, Sebastian, 4 more years. Keep streaming after your patience pays off. Thank you. Yeah, what else am I going to do here? Maybe eventually I'll retire and do this more full time. I enjoy doing this. GSEC, hi, question. Hi, Sebastian. If looking to take profits before the end of the year, how late would you dare leave it? Thinking of taking 50% in November, assuming prices are higher. Thanks for your work. You're very welcome there. Yes, I mean, typically in December we do have some selling happening here, mostly because people are going to be taking some profits on putting on the books. Also, you're going to have some people maybe taking some losses as well, whatever. But you definitely have more possibility of selling in December. Um, as far as how much would I take, I mean, I don't know. We'll see. I may just leave everything as it is. I don't like to trade for the most part. I invest for the longer term. I've been in these guys already, some of these guys, for 3 years. What's another 3 years, right? If I could double or triple or quadruple the value there, that might be worth it. All right, Bevny Mara can reach over $100. All right. Ed, I was waiting for you to say energy. You really should pivot to cover those stocks if there is a bear market, quantum energy, AI related stocks. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of where my head is right now. But I also have a limited amount of time to do research on these things. So right now I'm Bitcoin miners HPCI. But in time we might expand out. Which miner do you think will get the deal first? HPCI. As far as IREN CIPHER, oh my gosh, I don't know. I almost want to. I don't know. IREN has been, IREN has, I think, more optionality than CIPHER does. I think CIPHER might be more willing to take on a deal before IREN is. That's just my thoughts. Maybe I'm wrong on that one. All right. DFly says, I'm up 40% in Google in the last 3 months. I called the bottom on it based on PE ratio and fundamentals. Very nice. Yeah, I mean, a lot of those guys were beaten down here a couple months back. Ed says, at some point, I was down 70% in Bitfarms. Yesterday was my first green day after a year and a half of being in it. Awesome. Yeah, I mean, I was down on Bitfarms as well, like 50, 60% earlier this year, right when it went down to like 60 cents or something like that. So I'm with you. I was there in it as well. And I bought in a little bit at that point also. Not at that low price, but I got into like above $1 there. Xmet says Bitfarm smaller deals will be the competitor to the Hive's Bell contract. Rogers. Okay, yeah, that could very well be right for some of the smaller sites that they have in Canada. And says me too. First green day on Bitfarms in a year. Awesome. Okay, great. You guys are getting your money back, and hopefully you guys can at least double it from here. I would love to see that for you guys. Deflate my biggest mistake in converting my Bitfarms into CIPHER and then CIPHER into Cleanspark before all the run since though Cleanspark was way undervalued. SMH, well, can't catch it all, but got IREN at 7. Awesome. Yeah. And that's why I don't sell out of everything that I own on these guys here, is because, well, that's just me. But if you guys recall, last year, like I said, I sold a portion of my Cleanspark. I didn't sell everything. I sold a very small portion of it, bought into IREN at that point. Then sold Core, bought into IREN some more, and along with Cleanspark. Then I sold some, what I sell, Bitfarms, bought more into IREN, Cleanspark, and CIPHER. And then I also sold some IREN and Cleanspark here and bought more CIPHER. So, right, as the value of my portfolio goes up on some of these things, I do trim a little bit and get into other ones that I think are undervalued. But I don't sell like everything because you just, one, I kind of had a hunch. Not really a hunch, but I had a feeling that they were going to go up higher in time. I didn't know when. So I just wanted to hold on to as much as I could, but also get a little bit more diversified there. All right. More Tim, FYI, last year it took several weeks after the September rate cuts for Bitcoin to break out of its 7-month range and start moving. Maybe it's going to be faster this time around. Fingers crossed. Star Melon, if a low-end miner like Bitfarms can run, Cleanspark definitely can run. Yeah, on HPCI, yeah. Mr. X, finally, Cleanspark and Mara got a decent green day, and they still didn't make your headline. Sebastian, haha, don't you believe Cleanspark and Mara will have more upside now than IREN and Wolf? Potentially, but that's why I own Cleanspark, and I haven't given up on it. It's just, yeah, I mean, Wolf, IREN could definitely run some more, given an HPCI deal. Cleanspark can obviously run as well, Bitcoin going up. But that's why I own all these, well, not all of them, but majority of these things. And, I'm sticking with it. All right. Let's see. Ed says, and congrats, man. Stick with it. I believe we are just starting. I believe so, too. Gary, question. Who do you think will hit 2024 high first. Bitfarms, Cleanspark, Mar, or Riot, and order they will hit 2020. Oh, so when they hit the 24 highs, we'll hit that first. What were the highs in 2024? I have to look back on some of these guys here. I mean, I think Riot's, what, 30 some odd dollars was the high, I think. 20 some dollars was the high. Bitfarms was, what, close to $5, I think. I would have to look back. I'm not sure. But as far as the order that would happen, no, that's a, geez, I don't know. I would say maybe Bitfarms, Cleanspark, Riot, and then Mara, maybe. All right. Bob asks, who has more megawatts? More megawatts than who? Right. IREN has 2 gigawatts in the making right now. CIPHER has about 1.5, 1.6 gigawatts in the making. So those are the ones that I know of right now. Okay, XFED says Canadian contracts aren't to American scales, but they are government-backed nationwide, and these companies are protected. That would be true. Benny says, I think Hive can hit 10 to 15 Canadian. That is 3x from here. We'll buy tomorrow. Okay. Let's see. Cleanspark to dilute around $20. They do have something part of the convertible notes that I think it's $24 somewhere around there. That at that point they would dilute to get the shares back or something. I can't remember what the details are on it. But yeah, there might be some dilution there. Let's see here. SH says, Ben said on the X interview today that scrubgrass is way underestimated with megawatt, and it might get to 1 gigawatt alone after getting all the number analysis they are working on. And also the approvals, I think he said that there's something that's being worked out right now with a Talon, I think, and the power supply company there. If that gets figured out, yeah, but there's just a lot going on there. And it might not be for a year or two. So we'll see. Maxim, regarding CIPHER sales, Arthur is the CEO under 10B. Okay, but I can't pronounce that. Through BitFury, sold his biggest stake and has been selling for months. Yeah, we've been seeing CIPHER obviously selling out of that, which obviously adds a little bit of sell pressure there. I'm not sure why they're selling. Maybe there's got a reason for it. Maybe they're getting into, maybe they want to invest in something else as well. They do have a lot of shares still there with CIPHER. Right, DeFi. Surpassing 1 gigawatt of renewable computing to breaking ground on Project Caddy. 25 has been a year of momentum for Soluna. Now 100 million financing from Generate to scale our pipeline of clean data centers. Okay. Yeah, we talked about that a little bit, at least. Ed's got a question here. The 20 to 40 price target on Bitfarms, does that include BTC mining revenue? No. And that is because all of their Bitcoin mining revenue at that point would be probably, well, I would say majority of it probably would be gone at that point, right? Because their larger sites are in Pennsylvania. They do have a smaller site in Washington. They also have some sites in Canada as well. So I think majority of that would be for HPCI. All right, DeFi says Ethereum will outperform BTC in Q4. Okay, we'll see if that happens. But aside from operations in the U.S., Hive is a better stock than Bitfarms. They have AI deal and also 25x hash. Yeah, so they do have more hash rate there. But again, investors are kind of picky when it comes to the United States. They do like the operations in the United States. I don't know why. I think it's because of maybe just in general the laws and regulations and all that stuff. So that's always kind of a little bit of a premium on the stocks there. DeFi Kathy Wood bought 10 million shares of BMNR. She knows something. Well, maybe. Andre says, I agree. Please add Soluna to the small list. I'll think about it. I would have to do a lot more research on those guys. But even in the small list, I think my cutoff, I don't even know where their exahash is on Bitcoin mining or any of that stuff. I got to look some more into it. Maybe when I have time over this weekend, I'll look into it. All right. UH asks, question, any idea if Bitfarms is going for an ATM or dilution in the coming days? Not that I'm aware of. And the reason for that is because they've stated before that they are not looking to spend any money here in the coming or towards the end of the year here, or maybe even to next year. They don't have any, what's the word I'm looking there? There's an actual word for this. It's not outflows. It's there's something else, but they're not looking to spend any money, and they're making enough money from Bitcoin mining to fund their operations. So I don't think so, at least not right now. They also have a $300 million loan that they can access to build out the first 50 megawatt site there. So that's going to be used for that. See, the stock price is going up crazy. I just wonder that it's a ripe time for management. I would hold off. If the management's thinking about doing it right now, I would hold off, but that's just me to pull on the ATM. Gary, been a while since I heard Mara to 1,000 prediction. I think they go after 31st. Okay. DeFi, if Ethereum will fly because there is a narrative finally, and Wall Street has adopted Ethereum as the financial tool to build on top of it. BTC is digital gold, and Ethereum is Internet 2.0 by Ethereum or BMNR. Okay. I mean, all of that stuff is true here, but we'll see how much of an adoption it gets there. Here, IREN as a neo cloud provider isn't looking for a deal. Doesn't mean they won't sign one. Colocation providers need the deals, so CIPHER will get one first, and I own both, mainly IREN. Yeah, I would agree with you there as well. Right? Well, it would have to be a nice deal for them, and I mean, yeah, they have optionality, like I keep saying. All right, Des Market Stats says BTC new all-time high this month. Do I think that's going to happen? I mean, we have a couple more days left. Obviously, 2 weeks left, roughly. I don't know. It could happen. I mean, we're not too far off. We were at 124,000, so we need to go up another. It's possible, but I don't know. All right. Karan asks, do you think the markets will dump tomorrow? Buy the rumors, sell the news? Possibly. We might have that, or it might actually, rocket. We'll see. Either way, if we do get a dip, it's a buying opportunity at that point. All right. Morton says, Kush stated that Bitcoin will get to 300,000 or more in the next few months. Okay, wow, that's very, very high there. So that's the basis for his Mara and other calls. He sounds rational when he talks, but his calls sound crazy. Okay, yeah, I mean, that's high to me. I would say Bitcoin 150,000 to 200,000 is more like it. I don't see us going, 300,000 in the next couple of months. There's just no way. It's a different cycle altogether this time. If he's looking at the prior cycles and seeing, 60, 70% gains in a month, okay, then yeah, that might work out. But that's going on prior cycles, which I don't think you can use anymore on it. It's going to be, 10, 15% gains a month, maybe 20% gains if we're lucky. But that's just the way it's going to go, I think, from here on out. Would love to be wrong on it, and we do get like a 50% gain on a month, but I think that's the way it's going to go. Okay, Mr. X, question in April, when all the miners were tanking downwards and there were so much negativity and there were haters saying that miners are a waste of investment, how did it make you feel? I felt, I was saddened for the fact that people were capitulating those things. I kind of understood why, because obviously their investment was losing money and things like that. So I understood that. And I also know that the miners are not easy to stomach with all the volatility. So I held on, but I didn't take it personally. Everybody does what they got to do, and they get into things when they get into things, and they get out of things when they get out of things. I can't control that. That's everybody's decision. So that's why I say it's not financial advice. As always on all this stuff, and I just wish everybody becomes a millionaire here. That's what I'd love to see. But you got to know what you hold, and it is volatile for sure. YKY, Mara and Cleanspark gains will be erased tomorrow. Got used to it. Okay, that could happen also. We've seen that before. Gear hyperscalers may wait for IREN to prove they can run a liquid-cooled site, then possibly something like Nibius deal, but not co-location, okay? Yeah, Nibius deal is where they're also providing the GPUs there and all that stuff. Gerard here, hi Seb. I'd like you to consider the efficiency cost side in your rankings, not only operationally but much more important SG&A management comp. Example, having IREN and Mara in the same bucket, not fair. We look at that in the quarterly results as well, so we do rank them on that also. But yeah, I mean, some of these guys definitely for SG&A, way out of line there. Can you share your plan to exit percentage-wise? Gosh, things have changed here from the original thesis on these guys here being Bitcoin miners to now, Bitcoin miners and HPC AI. So that has changed, and you got to adapt, obviously, as things change. The original plan was going to be, Bitcoin gets to 180,000, something like that. This cycle, we would start selling probably 150,000 at that point, and dollar cost average out of those things. Now that we're seeing these guys definitely getting much higher premiums on HPCI potential, right? The revenues that are coming in from that. Could that be also a longer time frame? It could be. So I'm just going to keep an eye on it, see how things go. I may put in some trailing stops or something like that. Something just to protect myself so I don't lose, 50% overnight. So I may put in something like that where I'm just limiting it to maybe a 20% loss or something like that. I don't know. But we're still ways away from that, I think. I think we can still run up much higher. So I'll definitely let you guys know when I do sell a little bit. That's for sure. But I just don't know when. Okay. All right, water industry question. Why might miners not just keep going up and up as BTC increases in price and becomes exhausted on exchanges? The only place to get new BTC is going to be miners apart from market sellers. Thanks. Well, yeah, I mean, we definitely would need Bitcoin to also continue to go up in value, right? Because we're still seeing the network hash rate continue to increase. We surpassed one zettahash in speed there this past week. So you need Bitcoin to continue to go up in value, right? And whenever we've seen Bitcoin have a drawdown of 30%, the miners have gone down 40, 50, 60% at that point. So that's never great. So we just need Bitcoin to continue to go up more steadily. It can still come down, right? 5, 10, 15% maybe even. I think that would be okay. Miners wouldn't probably crash that much. Miners would probably only go down 20, 30%, hopefully, and then bounce back up because they are kind of like a proxy on Bitcoin. But when you start getting into HPCI as well and add that revenue onto it, you kind of normalize the revenue over a longer period of time. So maybe that won't be as volatile for them. It's going to be an interesting time to see how this all plays out in the next, I would say, 6 to 12 months, right? Even going maybe 18 months going forward. And we'll just keep chugging along. We'll keep track of these things, see how they do. Victor says, Trump likes made in the USA. Yes, he does, even though some of this stuff is made in China there. Right. Do you think Bitfarms or IREN will exit mining businesses by 2028? It will depend on where Bitcoin is, how the HPCI revenue is coming in, all that stuff. I think it's too early to tell right now. Let's see. Gerard says, we as shareholders need to fight outrageous compensation schemes. I agree. But we're also small fish, right? The management there will listen to institutions. So we've seen, I think it was the guy from H.C. Wainwright, right? They I think they've talked with Riot and they've probably talked with others as well, that your compensation is egregious. And, Riot kind of listened. They're going to, tone it down next year. But yeah, it is way out of line. Right? It's got to be in line with where the stock is, where the stock performance is. It can't be just, we installed, 25 exahash. We're getting, $30 million. Well, the stock is down 50%. So how is that fair? It should be tied more to the stock price or some other metrics that's more fair. But yeah. All right. Do you think we get a rate cut tomorrow? Yeah, I do. 25 basis points, I think, is pretty much in there right now. All right. Pinhas question. Do you think Hive can get to their 52-week high by December? What has been their 52-week high here on them? Let me see here. Hive. I should have that in here. Hive 52-week high is 554. They're at roughly $4 or so. Yeah, could be possible. Right, Bitcoin continues to go up or something like that. We get a new all-time high in Bitcoin. Yeah, I can see that. It's not too far away for them. All right. Let's see. DeFi says, I hope CIPHER will get a deal before IREN, as that will only drive IREN price further before the deal. Yeah, that could definitely happen. Let's see. Every day with Mommy and Moon, Cleanspark should announce a share buyback program and stop the outrageous compensation package. Yeah, I mean, their package is actually not as bad as others, but it is high. Riot and Mar are both much higher than where Cleanspark is at this point. But again, I would not want them to buy back shares. They are still in growth mode. The only time a company buys back shares, one is if the stock is obviously way undervalued. So if the stock was like at $2, I would say, yeah, buy it at that point because it's so damn cheap. But right now it's actually not too bad. It's around $10, $11, whatever it is. But the only other time you want to buy back shares is if you have so much money you got nothing else to do with it. That's when you buy back shares. So that's just my 2 cents on it. Let's see. That's Market Stats says I need Cypher to run so I can take the #1 spot on Minor Madness from Kama Sutra. Okay. Well, I hope that happens for you. DeFi Taman said ETH will flip BTC in the network value in the long haul as Ethereum will actually be used to build on top on it and also staking yield. He makes a good argument. But Ethereum is not the only player in town, right? You also have, what's the other one? Solana, I think is the other one. Sol. So it's not the only one that's going to be possibly used there. So it's got competition, where Bitcoin, I think, doesn't really have much competition in the space. Right, Bitcoin's got a little bit of a moat, where Ethereum does not, I think. All right, XB. Hi, just arrived on the stream. How are you? I'm good. Thanks for coming in. What are your thoughts on today's performance of Bitfarms and your forecast for tomorrow with FOMC? So performance today by Bitfarms has been fantastic. I mean, it's been fantastic here for the last couple of weeks, which is great to see. I'm happy. I'm sure you guys are happy too. Tomorrow FOMC, 25 basis points is kind of what I'm counting on. I'll be surprised if we get 50 basis points cut. And then I really want to see the dot plot to see where all the other Fed governors are looking at as far as rate cuts going forward. I want to see that as well. We'll see what that comes in as. All right, that's Market Stats here. Since Bitfarms buying back shares, will they be profitable this quarter? Probably not. Not when you include depreciation, stock-based compensation, all that stuff. I doubt that they will be profitable. Okay. And I feel BTC will hit 140 by end of October, dip briefly in November, then 180 by December. Then we'll have a bad quarter until the new Fed chair takes over, and then another run and dip by midterm elections. Okay. Man, you're definitely looking far out there. We'll see. We'll see how it plays out. Hard to tell right now. DeFi is IREN way undervalued versus main competitors, or are we just hyping this? Main competitors have deals. IREN does not have a deal right now, right? I mean, they obviously have GPUs that they're installing themselves, becoming somewhat of a neo cloud provider. And that revenue is going to be increasing, right? So they stated that by the end of the year, there should be an annual run rate of about 200 to 250 million just done from their GPUs. So that's definitely a sizable revenue jump. And if they install more and more, I mean, could that go up even higher? So yeah, based on competition, I would say that they are still undervalued. That's if they can capitalize on the growth in neo cloud or even get a co-location deal or something like that. So that's kind of what the market is looking for. DeFi says Riot sold way too early in Bitfarms, but again, was them selling the reason why the stock actually went up after they're possibly done selling, right? Because you get Riot off their backs. There's some clarity. There's no more, takeover bid and things like that. Maybe that helped the stock as well. Okay. Gerard says you might want to add cash flow profitability as ranking criteria. That's another good one, yeah. I mean, we only have one that's really profitable, IREN, right now. Does Market Stats, Bitfarms and CEO bought back Riot's shares. Yeah, that's what he's basically saying, right? Seb, I am beginning to think we may not get a crypto winter this time around. Thoughts? Well, I've been kind of saying that for the past 6 months to 12 months, that this cycle looks way different from the prior cycles. And I mean, we'll see. We will definitely see in the next, I would say, probably 3 to 4 months, right? By the end of the year here. This is typically where we would peak in the cycle, right? Right around October, November, maybe even into December. This is kind of where we would peak based on historical cycles. So we will see how this plays out. All right, I'm getting close to catching up on all the comments here. People need to remember difficulty is still increasing. IREN was only profitable in minor in Q2, needing big spike to make more profitable. Yes, yeah, I keep saying that. All right, Sour Melon Gaming. Bitcoin is only 116,000 news still coming out on BTC reserve buys. Fed pivot beginning. I don't think anyone should be taking profits right now. Not financial advice. I'm with you on that. I think there's just a lot of bullish catalysts happening here for us. Rate cuts, right? All this stuff. XB Prod. Question, is the rate cut already priced in the market? This one might be, but the next one isn't, which might be in October, and then the final one in December for this year. So those are not priced in yet, I don't think. So we still have more rate cuts to be priced in. All right, Mr. X, you once said you hardly look at your portfolio or the live market during the workday. How true is that? I I do check it every once in a while on my phone, but it's not like I'm staring at it, every minute or something like that. I'll check it. I would say maybe what, 8 to 12, 15 times a day. All right, so just kind of glance up, see what I'm doing. Okay, and that's it. All right. All right, DFly. Jerome Powell has the opportunity to do the right thing tomorrow and cut interest rates by 50 basis points. But again, would that not freak out the market, though? That maybe the economy's not doing that well, and that would actually, I mean, if he wants to be vengeful, he might go down, he might do 75 basis points, but I think that would freak out the market, I think. But we shall see. All right. Gary, question: institutions now only most minor shares after retail sold in spring. They can influence stock-based compensation to drop more than retail could. Okay. All right, Gerard. With all the difficulty, all-time high are misleading. Should track market cap versus exahash in table diagram. Okay, that's actually a pretty good one. I didn't think of that one before. Market cap versus exahash. In table diagram. Okay, I gotta remember that. That's a good one. I like that one. Okay, see, you guys are smarter out there than I am when it comes to this stuff. Yeah, we're used to the norms, but I like that one. I'll look into that one. Market cap versus exahash. Okay, market cap versus exahash. No. So isn't that kind of like looking at? Do we have something similar to that? Would that be, let's see, in a table? Okay, in a table diagram. In a table diagram. I have that actually as a chart, I think, a bar chart. Something similar to it, but I have it based on exahash to enterprise value, not market cap. But I think that might be similar to what you're talking about here. Let me see here. Miners, where's it at? Enterprise metrics, enterprise. Okay, so this might be what you're kind of talking about here, maybe. So I have current hash rate, right? Enterprise value per exahash, and probably could do also market cap per exahash. Do I have that here? I got market cap here on these guys. I do a 3-month revenue market cap multiple and a 12-month. I could probably add in their exahash as well to see what they're getting per exahash. I mean, we'd also do it on Bitcoin mined. There's many ways to skin this cat possibly, but I like that. I'll play around with it. I'll take a look. No promises though. Okay. That's market stats. I'm expecting a huge tax refund from the Better Business Bureau 2025-28. I'm making 6 figures with overtime pay. All right, nice. You can put that into a stock market. Sadie, thank you so much as always. Oh my gosh, if everyone could hit a thumbs up, that would be great. Dad's market stats. Sorry, Melon. I took the top fan today. Finally, nice. All right, DFly. What's your price target for BTC and Ethereum this cycle? I mean, BTC originally my price target for that one was 180,000 here, before all of the adoption we've seen here in the last basically 1.5 to 2 years. With institutions, ETFs, all that stuff. With that happening, I upped it to like 250,000. But it could go up obviously much higher here. It could be an extended cycle where we just continue to drag on higher over time. Ethereum, Ethereum, I don't know. I mean, don't really track that one too much. I do have a little bit of Ethereum, but it's not going to be life changing for me if it goes up to 10,000. So not much there. DeFi says, Seb, thanks for your insights. You're very welcome. Let's see. Happy hump day, everyone. Good night, Seb. Not hump day for me yet. I still got an hour to go, basically. But good night. Thanks for coming in. And thanks for the thumbs up. Let's see. Zabazet. If I'm pronouncing that wrong, I apologize. Hey, Seb, do you think it's wiser to switch from CORZ to BitFarms? Please advise. Thanks. CORZ, I mean, they're getting bought out, right? So either they get bought out or the deal doesn't go through or the shareholders don't vote for it. So if it doesn't, then I think it might be a good thing for CORZ. So it's tough. BitFarms has also had a huge one up here. I would hate for you to, I mean, that's your going to be call. I would say I would hate for you to do that switch and then actually find out that CORZ deal does not go through and the stock goes up higher because of that, because the revenue's going to be getting there. And then Bitfarms actually goes down, right? So that is going to be your call on that one. I'm not sure. I definitely, that's a tough question. Yeah, I'm sorry. I wish I had a better answer for you. All right, let's see what else we got here. Okay, talked about that one. Let's see, yep, talked about that. Sorry, my mouse has been acting up here. I'm trying to catch up here. Okay, talked about that. All right. Des Market Stats says big, beautiful bill. Hopefully that helps. All right, DeFi. See a lot of people assuming that we pump if we see the 25 basis cut, but I think that it's dangerous assumption because market's already priced in 25. It really depends on Jay Powell's remarks on future cuts. Yeah, I would agree with you there for sure. All right, we're going to call it a day because we've been going on basically almost an hour and a half here on all this stuff here. So we'll see where things go. I think there's obviously a lot more room for IREN, CIPHER, BitFarms to run along with the other miners as well. But the ones that have the megawatts obviously will do very, very well here. So we might be in this for a little bit longer than we thought. Originally, we were thinking that we're going to be out of the miners and Bitcoin possibly by the end of this year. It may turn out that we're actually going to be here for another couple more years. So we'll see. All right. But that is all. Appreciate you guys for coming in as always. Thank you so much. Love you all. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a great hump day. All right.